So tell me, what are we talking about today?
Today on Keepin the Geek Bros podcast, we've got the COVID-19, the Corona special. What is COVID-19, aka the coronavirus? What is the impact on the economy, entertainment, healthcare, jobs, travel, and society? Question of the day, what, if any, lasting effects on society will there be? And inebriated fitness, how do we stay safe while still feeling the burn? All this and more on this week's episode of Keepin the Geek Bros, a family podcast, allegedly. Stay tuned.
In a world where geeking out never looked so good, two incredibly sexy men will rise for your auditory pleasure. Here's your hosts, Keeping Up with the Geek Bros.
Yes. Keepin the Geek Bros podcast. I'm your host, Vibe. With me, my fellow Geek Bros.
Darth Flex.
Garbanzo.
And Roz.
All right, Darth Flex, before we get to these topics, or topic in general, can you tell these fine people where to find us on social media?
Yes, you guys can check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Geek Bros with a zero. That's GEEKBR0S. You can also email us, send us cool pictures, put us in your will after the COVID-19 gets you through geekbros@yahoo.com. Send nudes, dogs, and whatever you're doing during your quarantine. Also, Vibe recently got an Xbox, so if you want to game during your quarantine, go ahead and drop your gamer tag in our email, and we'll be sure to jump on with you.
Yes, gamer tags for Sea of Thieves and what else?
What? No, Sea of Thieves.
Everything on
Barbie
Game Pass,
Horse
whatever.
Adventure.
Barbie Horse Adventure, yes. And this is like this airplane game that seems interesting. It's really funny.
Of course. And then, if you want to check out this beautiful concoction of café con leche, cafecito, Egyptian cinnamon, kind of pale today, and milk chocolate, you can check us out on youtube.com/VibeRep Studios. That's VIBEREVSTUDIOS. I don't know. I was thinking STD in my head. All right.
Excellent.
And the first place to find the Geek Bros.
The first place.
WeBeGeeksPC.com. And shout out to Mike. Hopefully you're staying safe during this what is it, state of emergency. I don't know.
Yes, state of emergency.
Yeah.
All right.
State of emergency. It is what it is.
We don't have any. Well, we do have comments and questions from you, the audience, but I unfortunately forgot to add it to this. We're gonna get to it next time. But gents, anything to report?
Yes.
Flex, you go.
I finished Castlevania all 3 seasons as a
Yes.
recommendation. Gotta say, it's been a while since I've seen an animated series that good.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. A little bummed out that it took 3 seasons to see some titties, but
Yeah, I was
it
going
was
to ask
very
that question.
What?
Yeah, because the whole thing is
Well-
it keeps on saying nudity in the top, like warning for nudity, but like I just finished second
It
season.
rates the entire series when it does that.
I mean, you see, a tasteful amount of wieners.
What?
Yeah.
But
So-
at the end, you see some really nice females.
Vibe.
Vibe.
Remember how you felt at the end of episode 3 of Clone Wars, right?
Yes.
Just last week.
Yeah.
So take that same feeling and invert it. Okay? Turn it 180 degrees, and that's how you'll feel watching this show.
Really?
There will be
Yeah.
no
Okay.
point where you're like, I'm disappointed in this. No,
Yeah.
it's an
No,
excellent
really
ride
not.
the entire way through.
Listen,
Now you guys
but-
know that Flex
That
has.
that fight at the end of season 2.
I know.
Oh, dude, wait till season 3, man.
When Bloody Tears starts
Oh
playing the
my
music
God.
from Castlevania.
Hey.
Oh, come on. Oh my gosh. I don't want to spoil it for you, Vibe.
No, of course. Okay. So Flex.
Vibe,
okay,
wait, hold on, Vibe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Before
right.
you go into this, don't compare the Dark Crystal and this
No.
as the same kind of thing.
Oh, no,
'cause
no.
they're two totally different things.
No, I'm not comparing it to say is this a Dark Crystal but what I am saying though is do you recommend it along the lines of how strongly you recommend Dark Crystal, how strongly you recommended The Witcher to me? Because remember you got me watching these things. What are you, 2 for 2 or 3 for 3? I don't remember what it was, but you got me watching these things because you've pushed it that hard, saying that it was for the story and whatever. Because you reached out to me with that. Is that what you're saying with the Castlevania series?
I am.
Cool. I can't hear what you're saying.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, we don't know what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I said when I first saw it, I immediately stopped in the first episode. But then after Roz revisited the situation, I was like, all right, he's got some good taste. So I tried it. It's really good. I really like the gratuitous amount of violence in the series, man. It is good, and they don't hold back. They don't hold back.
No, not at all.
But also, the cast I think is pretty good.
I want to interject really quick. I want to interject. That's not the selling point of the show.
It's not. But I'm saying for me it is.
It is a remarkably well written and well animated show that has a consistent story thread and brilliant voice acting throughout.
Yeah, and unlike Marvel, they actually use the proper lore and kind of stick to it. So I do enjoy that because, I mean, come on. Marvel's take on Norse mythology is bullshit. But this show did its research. And, I mean, I've never played the games. Well, actually, I did when I was very young, but can't remember. I'm pretty sure I lost some memory. But now I want to play all the games. Even after Roz cautioned me how they didn't age well, I still want to play those damn games, man.
And I'm fair warning, they really are hard.
And it's not only because, I mean, the name is Castlevania Hard. That's literally a degree of difficulty. But people are, when they hear this, some people are probably going to want to kill me. They genuinely suck now. Like. I've recently tried to play. The only one that holds up is Super Castlevania 4, I think it was, on the Super Nintendo. That one's still pretty good, and obviously Symphony of the Night. But those OG ones that were on the Nintendo Entertainment System, it's like playing Metal Gear Solid 5 and then saying, oh man, you know what? I think I want to go back to the original Metal Gear, because if this one's that good, gosh, I can't wait for the first one. And the first one's just some dude walking, left to right, with no story and shooting a little pixel of a bullet towards a guy. It does not age well. So, however, that said, by all means, play it. I'd get it on an emulator if I were you, but
I think the Switch has it.
We'll talk. Well, I think almost all consoles have at least a collection online.
The collection, which is just the Super Nintendo and Nintendo.
Just the beginning ones, yeah.
Yeah.
They even have that Kid Dracula one. Looks kind of silly, but whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, so Vibe, how is your experience with the Xbox going?
Well, I'm only playing one game so far, which is that Nightshade, whatever stalker game, and it's so much fun. It's the first game I downloaded on Game Pass, and Game Pass is great, by the way. I did download another RPG, and I did download Sea of Thieves so far, and my son downloaded Fortnite on it. No, Fortnite.
Oh my god, he has Fortnite on fucking
everything.
Well, but he wants me to play because apparently Fortnite now can do a split screen multiplayer while online, and I can be upstairs playing with them on the Xbox. So because it's a cross-platform,
it's cross-platform support. Yeah.
So I didn't know that. So yeah, but I'm so hooked on this game, and it's so funny. The game is actually on the Switch, so I'm just like, God damn it, I could have played it on my handheld, but I already downloaded it on there, so I'm playing it, and it's just so great. It's so great. The Xbox is great. I mean, I've never used an Xbox before. I had no love for the Xbox, but I'm really comfortable using it now. Very, very comfortable using it. And I look forward to coming home and after doing anything studio related, going and laying in my bed and putting on the Xbox. It took me a while to figure out how to turn it on. I didn't know that you had to put your hand around the X to turn it on. I didn't find a button. I didn't find anything. And pairing it was really funny too. But other than that, once I got past the whole batteries and the controller thing, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to actually play with my bros online, which is but other than that, which is the reason why we got it for me. But I'm loving it. I might consider getting the next generation Xbox. Why not? I want to get Diablo after. I'm actually considering it because I was like, it's not that bad after all. What was I thinking? So, it's great. It's great. Who else has something to report?
Other than staying home and not doing anything.
Are you on a lockdown for?
Yeah, we've done a voluntary lockdown here just because I have family that are 60 and up,
acceptable.
And if I get it, if my fiance gets it, we'll be fine. But if we visit our family, if anything happens and we have to go see them and then we spread it to them, I don't want to have to deal with that.
Of course.
It's not something I want.
I agree.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
actually not going to visit my mom for quite some time, just because her and my younger brother do not take care of themselves. So I can't imagine that it's something they could fight off very easily.
Garbanzo, anything to report besides your
Um,
abundance of paper towel and Lysol?
but I am prepared. Um, actually, the big thing I want to report is uh, actually I'll save it for later. I just
Okay.
try spending a little more time at home, trying not
Yep.
to go out, minimizing contact. If I do have to go out, making sure that I have, like I bring because most places do not, and that's the one thing most places don't carry hand sanitizers anymore because everyone's been overusing it and stuff like that, and there's very little out there.
Yeah.
Just avoiding large groups and the usual things to try to keep because the whole thing is that I know if I get it, I'll be all right, but I know that if people that I work with and people that I have to worry about my wife and making sure
Of course.
that she's okay, and then also
Well, of
our
course,
family
you
members as
have-
well. I'm trying to take care of myself for other people, not just for me.
Right. Okay. Roz, anything to report?
That's about it, man.
For me to report, I have successfully won an eBay bid for a new camera. I actually have now
Oh.
purchased
Oh, nice.
a new camera. Of course, the exact same model that I have. Not to say the model that I have is an issue, but because it has farted on us twice within the last couple of years. It is out for repair, but now I have a second model that's going to be a backup to allow, so there's no more interruptions in productions going forward, at least because I highly doubt they'll both break at the same time, knocking on wood.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's what I have to report is that Vibe Studios will now be a 2-camera setup operation once the original camera is back from repairs, which was this year is my last year for the 10-year warranty that I had. But yes, I'm actually glad. This is the third time I bid on eBay, and I lost the first two because I did the max bid, and at the very, very end, somebody outbid me like minutes before, and I didn't have my
That's
phone on
brutal.
me. This time,
Hey,
I made
I
sure.
hate when that happens.
Yeah, they do it on purpose though. They wait till the very end. This time I made sure that my phone was on me, and it was the last day I
And that
had
was
an
you.
alarm every hour. I checked every hour, and I sat there for the last 5 minutes waiting for it to count down till it said I won. And so I won. I paid for it. It's actually out shipping. It should be here by next Monday. So we will be back on track for at least having a camera. So when this does subside, we will be able to get back out there recording and recording here, and no worries about the audio, none of that stuff anymore. So I am proud to announce that.
Awesome.
I am still going to work though because nobody's letting me out, unfortunately. All right, so that's it for the report. Next question, Garbanzo.
What? Sorry. So I was like literally just trying to look up the information that you guys were actually just talking about,
Oh, okay.
and
Wait, were you trying to outbid Vibe on the camera?
well, yeah, I literally was trying to see. I was trying to see. So I was actually looking it up right now to see if I can, outdo him. No. So what is going on with the Geek Bros as of right now?
Okay, so the Geek Bros, unfortunately, we came to a collective decision. This was a group decision. We've decided to postpone the 100 episode.
Postpone.
That is what we are announcing now. The original idea was to do it at 10th Level Tavern as a live event to give away some stuff, to have a group setting. And in light of what's going on health-wise and the situation and the pandemic concerns, we collectively decided that it was not the brightest thing in the world to do, especially for turnout and for health reasons and for our
Absolutely.
families and everything. So, until further notice, we will not be having the 100 episode. We will let you know as soon as we all collectively decide that it's okay to consider it again and to get back out there. We're going to try and cheat the system. In other words, we're going to try and have mini-sodes or specials and try and postpone as long as possible the actual 100 episode. We do have episode 99. That'll be next week. And then after that, we're just going to be doing... we're going to do what we can special-wise to avoid having our 100 episode, or we'll just skip it and go to 101 and go from there.
There's a lot of decimal points and there's a lot of fractions out there.
Exactly. So we're going to be postponed. So that's the biggest thing. Of course, that today episode 97 video recap is up for you guys to for your viewing pleasure. The Witcher is the Witcher review. Both parts of the episode, the rough cut is done. Now I'm just putting what I call the glitter on it. So that should be ready. I am modifying the audio a little bit because the audio does sound a little off. But if I can't, I'm
Okay.
just gonna throw it the way it is. Not bad because your setup, Garbanzo, is fantastic. But in light of how it sounds on the podcast the last time, I want to see if I can clean it up a little, play with it, give it a little bit more I don't know, girth, which is not the right word I want to use, but that's what I want to use.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, it is. So that's it. So no, don't fear. We will let you guys know as soon as we have collectively decided to reschedule the 100 episode. It is postponed indefinitely, but it will be happening, and we will have tankers, we will have giveaways, we will have maybe a Switch Lite to give away. Who knows? So stay tuned. Flex, what are you doing?
My insides are itching.
And that's what you do for your insides. You it sounded so weird. You see, this is one of the many times why it pays to watch the podcast, not listen to the podcast, because that without context is gonna give people some interesting thoughts.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
if this is your first time listening to our broadcast, then please take a moment to subscribe, leave a review on your favorite podcasting app. If you're watching us, then don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. YouTube has recently changed the algorithm to favor corporate channels, so independent productions like ours are being recommended, reducing our views, limiting our exposure to audience, etc., and so forth. So, without further ado, the coronavirus special starts now. We're going to get into what is COVID-19, aka the coronavirus, and I'll read this to you guys. The coronavirus, which is big C, little o, big V, are a large family of viruses that cause illness ranging from the common cold to more severe diseases such as Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS, and severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS. The COVID virus disease, COVID-19, is a new strain that was discovered in 2019 and has not been previously identified in humans. The coronavirus is zoonotic? Is that right?
Zoonotic. Yeah.
Zoonotic. It means that they are transmitted between humans and peoples. Detailed investigation found that SARS was transmitted from civet cats to humans civet cats to humans, and MERS from, oh my God, what is that? Dromedary.
Yeah, camels.
Dromedary camels to humans. Several known coronaviruses are circulating in humans and that have not yet infected several known coronaviruses are circulating in animals that have not yet infected humans. Common signs of the infection include respiratory symptoms, fever, cough, shortness of breath, and You're such an ass. That is a mandatory 14-day quarantine right there for Darflex. In more severe cases, infections can cause pneumonia, severe acute respiratory syndrome, kidney failure, and even death. Standard recommendations to prevent infection spread includes regular hand washing, covering mouth and nose when you're coughing and sneezing, thoroughly cook meats and eggs, avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness such as coughing and sneezing. Now, this actually comes from the World Health Organization. That's www.who.int/health topics and -topics and coronavirus. So yeah, this is actually coming from the World Health Organization. So now that we know what the coronavirus or COVID-19 is, we're going to discuss the coronavirus impact. And we have a few topics here. So first, economics. Stocks plummet since this has been going on. And this article comes from AmericanProgress.org. I'm not going to read it because I don't feel like reading it. But I have a program called Stash, and that allows me to do micro investments. Yeah. And I lost a ton of money since this thing has been going on. My friend even said like she lost like $10,000 out of her retirement because of what's going on. Stocks plummet. Discuss.
I lost a lot of Bitcoin.
Did you? You in Bitcoin?
Yeah. Like not actively. It's just the change I have left over through my Cash App from my professional invoices. I just put the difference in, and over the years it's been quite a bit. But it dropped like fucking like $4,000.
Yeah, like a stone, like a stone. Okay, money's dropping like a stone. Why do we think that is? Oh, I'm sorry, Barbarzo.
I think it's and personally I think people are treating this as
the end of days.
That's what it kind of feels like, you know. Just make sure you have enough toilet paper to last you for a year. And
we will get into that.
But no, I think, and this is my personal opinion, and because it's the stocks usually prices drop as they sell. from my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. The more a stock sells, the lower the value is, and as the stock start getting bought back, stocks start to go up. People are selling for multiple reasons, whether they're trying to get more liquid assets, or they may have fear in a certain in the current market situation, so they're going to start pulling. So you could have, and the whole thing is it also can snowball. So let's just say we have 10 people that are investing. Out of the 10 people, 3 people go, you know what? I want to pull my money out from these stocks where they're at currently because I think that stocks are going to drop. This also may think, oh my God, but the stock, once those people pull, the stock does drop. Everyone sees the drop, think it's going to, before it gets worse, starts pulling out their stocks as well, causing it to continue in a downward turn. Again, this is just from me looking and the little bit that I know in reference to stocks. I do not do stocks very often. I barely even dabble. I don't even stick my pinky toe. I go like this, not even put that much in there. And that's kind of the situation. So and people are just trying to have like the physical funds. I know that I personally, with my 401k that I have with my company, I lost a nice chunk. How much I'm not going to discuss, but I do know people that have lost over $150,000 in the course of the last week. I mean, and that's not even on major stocks. I'm talking about IRAs and things like that, where it's not like it's not high risk, but so I can only imagine if it was a high risk format, they may have lost millions. It's
a big part of this also is, remember, we've been on the cusp of another recession for a while now, and future speculation has also been dictating that technology shares are like way overpriced. The tech share prices were astronomical.
No,
so
not a tech bubble. Please don't tell me you're talking about a tech bubble.
Well, it's already it's actively bursting as we speak. That's been the major driver of this crash. I mean, what's the biggest company in the world right now? Microsoft.
Yeah,
they've had a drop of 14%. That's massive. I mean, they still have a market cap of like $1.2 trillion, but to have a drop of 14% is really substantial.
Same thing with Apple.
So looking at those tech stocks take the big drop. Looking at the price of oil, Saudi Arabia is trying to ease back on their production of oil to boost the prices yet again, because oil prices are crashing. Everything is going to crash, and like Garbanzo said, a lot of it is fear. And when a sell-off begins, a sell-off begets a sell-off begets a sell-off. People just start to panic and start to sell. But it was expected. That's one of the reasons that people didn't want to declare this a pandemic, because a pandemic or natural disasters or like wars, things like that, always cause crashes in the economy. This is just going to be a situation where it's like the worst I think that it's been in almost 100 years.
Yeah, pandemic wise. Is the fear justified? Not to say not of the virus itself, but the consequences of the fear. Can we whether that is justified? Because everybody reacting and people reacting to other people's reactions, it makes the situation, in my opinion, worse and harder to manage. And you're adding, we have a potential pandemic on our hands. You think it would be easier not have to worry about, well, the economy is crashing, the stores are running out of stuff, people up, we're closing locations. Like, can we say that maybe the reaction to the situation isn't helping things, especially when it comes to the economy, that we could probably take a moment to breathe and not be such a reactionary society?
Sure, definitely. But I mean, human nature is what it is,
Yeah.
People are going to overreact. And, that said, there was no way that this wasn't going to negatively impact the economy. A pandemic is always going to cause closures. A government is always going to enact quarantine measures.
Right.
And once a quarantine happens, that will, like you said, negatively impact the markets. So to a point, yeah, people are absolutely overreacting. Could have been prevented. That's kind of like a dangerously
Or
political
mitigated.
question.
Or
Mitigated would be a
mitigated,
better one.
maybe
But
mitigated,
still, like it's a dangerously political question because
yeah.
you look at the way other countries have handled it versus our own, and it could have been done differently. But unfortunately, we play with the cards that were dealt.
Yeah,
Oh,
I wish this would actually help me with real estate. Surprisingly, the houses have not dropped. People are not selling,
well, that's because
and
they're being quarantined in
and
their home.
no. So here's the thing too:
Right.
is I know this sounds scummy, but it's part of my business. I'm gonna go fuck. But I've been looking at probate lists. Like, there we go. That's exactly what. So, do you guys know what a probate list is?
Yes.
I do not.
The foreclosures.
So
or?
it's pretty much I'm just looking at people that fucking kicked the bucket. I'm taking
You
that house
die.
from their heirs, and yeah, man, it's nobody's dying. What the fuck?
We're in the beginning. We're still in the beginning stages here.
That too, but also just like last week, I probably sent out 50 pieces of mail with offers. I don't know if anybody wants to move out of Florida and needs to sell their house. I will buy it cash. So go ahead and email us at geekbros0@yahoo.com. I'll give you a cash offer and I'll close as early as 30 days. But seriously, God, I'm just
that is probably the most shameless promotion that we've ever had on this podcast.
Oh, shameless as fuck.
This isn't. But this isn't going to be good for the real estate market anytime soon. It will eventually. Will eventually become good.
It's not going to be good for people that are trying to sell retail. Not at all.
Correct.
For someone like me who's trying to wholesale, this is probably, in theory, prime time.
Yeah, but I'm saying for the real estate market at large, this is not going to be. This is not going to be good. This is
no, not at all.
But
unfortunately, for no market, the only market that's going to be benefiting from this is the toilet paper and the hand sanitizing market.
That is true. The one thing I'll say about wholesaling is that it does benefit in the sense of putting under contract and assign because I can get a price and then just sell it to some Venezuelan guy with oil money, and then I'm free and clear. But yeah, if you're working retail or if you're trying to bet on selling your home for a higher price, it's going to be a shitty time for quite a bit. But again, I'm here to offer you a solution. Go ahead and hit me up.
I want to move on to mandatory job closures, which is what's going on a lot lately. But specifically, and this hits home with Garbanzo, travel restrictions and how that's impacting the jobs. And so Garbanzo, I'd love to hear. I mean, you can get as personal or as general as you'd like, but you more so than anything know how the travel restrictions is being placed right now. And both travel restrictions and the fear that people have, and they're canceling their trips. They're not booking things. They're not coming to hotels. They're not going on elaborate vacations because they're actually being told if it's not essential, don't travel. Don't take that cruise. Don't go on that flight. They're being told to, and they're listening. How is that affecting?
Here's the thing is the reason why they're being told to do so.
Yes.
Is because at the beginning they said just please be cautious, please be a human being. If you're sick, don't go out. If you may be one of the people who maybe have been at risk, come forward, get tested. People were saying, you know what, I'm going to survive. I'm fine. I don't care. And they just basically just did not act like human beings. Or actually, actual people that actually care. So that ended up causing a lot more people getting infected, a lot more issues. So people says, okay, since you cannot police yourself, we have to police you for you, which is upsetting, but that's the kind of what it's going down to. So now the government's putting restriction on travel to avoid people from actually going.
Did we lose everything? What was that?
Hello? That was weird.
That was very weird.
Did the NSA come in and?
We're still recording, so.
Government, please understand that we are here to voice good things. We think you guys are doing a great job.
We are not being controversial this episode.
That
was.
They go get us.
But the travel restrictions. I mean, the human in me understands the person that depends on the hospitality industry to survive.
Right.
It's saddened. The fact is that there are over 50 million jobs in the U.S. that rely on hospitality and travel. and a lot of these people are losing their jobs, being laid off. I have a close friend of mine who just got promoted to actually basically a junior vice president role or an aerial director role in a major cruise line, and he was laid off yesterday.
Now laid off or put on an extended hiatus, because I'm saying we don't think it's a little early to be laying off.
There's a big difference. Okay, so those who don't understand how the situation works. Usually, there's a process. But there are some companies that are saying we're going to go ahead and just have everybody go down to minimize contact because we don't need everybody. We're going to go down to a 4-day work week. Now, there's two ways of doing that. Either they go, and this is also for salary staff as well as hourly staff. What ends up happening is hourly staff would have to cut down to maybe 2 or 3 days a week because occupancy doesn't dictate the amount of people that we need. Then it would just if you have, there's no point in having 17 food runners when you have 5 covers for a day. You can have people that's literally just wasting money. Then the ownership, because remember, depending on, it doesn't matter if you're Hyatt, Hilton, Marriott, IHG, any of these major hotel corporations. Some of them are actually franchises, and most of the time they're a managing company, not owners of the property. So you have owners now. Some of the owners are pretty well off, but they still rely on the income from this hotel to be able to pay one for the salaries.
Well, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Salary, pay for salaries. Pay for the bank loans. Pay for electricity. Pay for the cable bill. Pay for water. Pay for trash. These are all things that, regardless if we're open or not, or if we're actually functioning or not, they still have to be paid. You can't just have, because even if the place, because the thing is also a lot of these properties are also mixed use. What does that mean? You have residences there, so you can't stop the services. You have residences paying between $5,000 or $6,000, depending on the property, up to $50,000 or $60,000 a month for part of their, basically their fees for the use of the facility, right? So you cannot deny them what they're paying for without saying you don't have to pay it, but you need that money. So what do you have to do? You have to balance it out and then see what's going to be the good from the bad from there.
And I don't mean to cut you off. I don't mean to cut you off, but then I asked for what is the logic behind laying off staff when it's clear that this situation will be resolved eventually. You will need that staff. You will need that staff to maintain.
Because as a layoff, you basically, the person can be hired back immediately. It's not as a termination. With a termination, you have to go back in and do all the rehire paperwork. As a layoff, you could pick up right where you left off. Now, there's also something that's in the middle, and some companies are using it, some companies don't. And it's called a furlong. Basically, the way the furlong works is that it's a 2-month process. They basically say, okay, you're on furlong for on furlough. It's not furlong, furlough. You're on furlough for right now, and it's It's for 8 weeks. You do not come to work. You can collect. You can collect full unemployment, and they still pay you 20% of your base salary.
Oh, okay.
That's it. So that's something that a lot of times that they'll be using for a lot of the executives or even management, sales right now. Sales departments and marketing departments in hotels are being hit. And the hospitality industry, especially in hotels, is being hit. It's probably one of the hardest. Even though right now they're out there trying to get the rooms rebooked for later on, trying to alleviate any kind of fear that the hotel is infested or having any issues. We're increasing our cleaning tactics. We have different hotels, different organizations, Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt have actually sent out letters to all the people, explain to them the processes that are being put in place to try to alleviate some of that sense of dread. Even if they're even offering for self-isolation. If someone wants to self-isolate, all they say is please notify. We'll make sure it's taken care of properly so you don't affect anybody else. So I mean, there's things that the hotels are trying to do. It's scary. It's really scary.
It sounds like biblical proportions when it comes to the hospitality and travel industry. I mean, I'm not following it too much. I only started following it after you started alluding to
And also on top
what's
of
going
that,
on a little bit.
American Airlines parked 300 jets.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
300 and still counting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
That's huge. Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian have all basically said no more. No, we're not sailing out at all for the next till the end till I think the end of possibly April.
Cruise ships were a massive vector of this disease. It's we had ships with like 2,000 people that were all infected that were then released into their respective countries. So I get why they're stopping cruise ships. Airlines, same thing. Like you said, they didn't ground flights, and people still kept flying while they were sick. And now it's become a global pandemic instead of an epidemic.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that what they're doing is wrong. I'm just saying
just
that
impacting you negatively.
It's impacting
millions of people.
It's a rough situation. I do believe that if we and I'm speaking out to, hopefully we can. They're talking about possibly giving out aid to certain companies. I just hope the companies use the aid properly. That's my biggest fear. If you bail out and say, okay, we're going to give you $1.2 million to pay for the sick leave and to cover this losses, and then turn around, the first people who are going to get it are going to be the executives who don't need the money.
But if you don't pay the executives, okay, let me explain. If you don't pay the executives, then how are they going to be able to build a golden parachute for when they leave the company and get paid even more money after they run the company into the ground?
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that Roz knows really well that the place I work for sure is not going to use that properly.
All right.
It is what it is, man. It's scary. It's nerve wracking. I'm hoping, like right now, I'm okay. I am going to say that I don't want people to think that I currently we
are setting up a GoFundMe page for Garbanzo.
I was going to say, you're going to do a GoFundMe?
No, not yet.
Please donate.
Right now, currently, luckily for me, I have my direct management team is doing everything they can to try to minimize the impact on the employees in general. They're finding work. They're okay. We could pay for this and justifying certain things so we can actually make sure things are doing well. And they're really trying really, really hard. And I'm very proud to say that that's part of the team that I'm part of. But I know that I'm not every property is like that, and not every situation is like that. So my heart goes out to everybody in the hospitality industry, especially down here in South Florida, which the majority of us are survive on it. So that's just all we can do is keep our fingers crossed and cover our mouths and cover our mouths when we cough.
Yep.
Oh,
absolutely. All right,
hand sanitizer.
And hand sanitizer, and of course, don't forget the toilet paper. All right, we're moving on to inebriated fitness. This is a special inebriated fitness. If Darflex is ready, I'm not sure he's talking off camera. Give me a nod or something. Yeah, that's good. All right, Darflex is an exercise physiologist with a BS in exercise and sports science. He's a certified CSCS strength conditioning coach, a CISSN sports nutritionist, sports injury specialist, and currently an MMA weight cut specialist. I pose to you, Darflex, Mr. Man, how do we stay safe but still feel the burn?
By the burn, you mean how to stay active?
How to stay active and how to we can't go to the gym no more. We can't go running. We can't do our outside workouts.
But here's one thing I want to let everybody know before I answer this question is that make it very clear that exercising acutely or just for the moment, you have a small window where it does lower your immune system. So be very aware of that. Exercise does lower your immune system. Obviously, you can counteract the effects and the severity of that with something like probiotics. But okay, that's buy my kombucha.
That too.
Let's see. Masturbation does lower your immune system.
What?
Again, very, very briefly. Okay. Now, here's the question. So You could probably still go run outside.
Well, I mean, there are, what I'm saying is that they say only,
Okay, so if you want to stay
Right.
home, and that's a good
Yes.
question. Couch
Yes.
couch exercises are a very excellent example, and they're exactly what they sound like. A very simple box squat is simple. Grab something heavy. You could grab like a dog or something, or your girlfriend or some shit. Put her over your shoulders. I mean, well, my dog's pretty heavy, so she's actually pretty good for squats. But you can
Little
just do
chihuahua.
that.
I got this.
Like for example, right now I was breaking up concrete in the backyard. That's something you could do. Pick something heavy up and just do some reps with it.
What if you run out of concrete?
Then push the earth down. So you can do. Wait, how are you gonna run out of concrete?
Once the floor is done, just start hitting the walls.
Okay.
If you guys need concrete, for sure you can come over here and grab some for free from my backyard, free of charge. Just grab some. I got about maybe 20 tons of concrete back there. All right, so let's see. Again, just any kind of body weight exercises: pull-ups, push-ups, squats, crunches. But really, to feel the burn, it's just kind of tough. You got to do like a very actually, no, I'm sorry. It depends. It depends on where you are, your level of fitness. But really, nothing is changing except the fact that you probably won't be going to a gym, right?
Exactly.
You can unless you're a competitive bodybuilder or some kind of competitive athlete, pretty much the same things you were doing in the gym you can do at home. You just have to think outside the box and not be lazy. Really, I'm sure you can find heavy stuff in your home. I'm sure you can use your body weight. I'm sure you can do isometrics, which is just something this right here, pushing against your hands hard as you can. Isometrics, planks, isometrics, wall sits, isometrics. If you're really worried about that, yeah, it's not hard to do. It's
He's blanking it.
just yeah, she heard me calling her fat. Just stay active, and really, you could probably get away with going outside and running. But if you are worried about it, my advice is don't. You can run in place. You can jump rope if you have enough space. You can maybe You can maybe take an edible, throw on some hentai, and just go on a fucking 1 hour masturbation bender. But yeah, you can still feel the burn inside your home. It's just a matter of doing it. You don't need anything special.
Okay, so here's the thing. You did say, that mildly and for very, very temporarily, that it does lower your immune system when you work out. Do you recommend a fitness routine or even being working out or anything at all during this pandemic crisis?
I can. So I'm not going to, but only because I'm going to be busy making awesome giveaways for our 100th episode. But yeah, absolutely. If it's something you did regularly, here's one thing that I strongly believe is that if you can avoid changing your quality of life because of something like this, do it within reason, right?
Okay.
If you can get some activity within your home and be safe, and obviously if you need to be clean, make sure you wash your hands and everything, even touching your floor, whatever, just wash your hands. Yeah, absolutely. If it's something you like doing, if it's something that's going to improve your quality of life or maintain it where it was, and you can be safe doing it, of course. I mean, honestly, if I had my kettlebells with me or something like that, I would definitely work out in my guest room.
Okay.
But I don't.
So basically, what you're saying is don't use the coronavirus as an excuse to get lazy
Yeah.
and fat. Get out, keep active, keep going on with whatever New Year's resolution or whatever fitness goal you got going on, and what they jump back on the horse as soon as we get the all clear.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
If you're gonna be lazy and fat, just be proud of it.
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ideally, though, don't be sedentary.
Yes, don't be sedentary. How about this for you gamers out there? You can go ahead and play Sea of Thieves. Every time somebody rapes you, go ahead and do some push-ups. Okay,
I've played Sea of Thieves. I've never had that happen to me.
Okay, every time somebody shoots himself into your boat and blows up one of your
Now we're talking.
gunpowder barrels, do 20 push-ups.
On that subject, I'll also say, you know what? Don't fucking sit down while you're playing. Stand up. Do
That's
squats.
true.
Oh.
Because
your controller's not connected by a wire, more than likely.
So,
you're not playing a Super Nintendo.
Yeah, if you're walking to and from, just don't go to the kitchen every time. Just don't do that.
I actually purchased this one game for Jillian. It's like, I forget what it's called. It's something Ring for the Wii. It's like an exercise game. Ring Fit. She says it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I gotta try that.
It's probably no better than the Wii Fit. The Wii Fit was legit. The Wii Fit
was...
The Ring
Fit
it's for the Switch. There's one for the Switch, I think.
But yeah, for the Switch, it actually has a resistance circle, so it's actually pretty cool.
Attention. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's that.
Well, thank you, sir. All right, well, thank you, sir. If you want any more fitness and nutrition tips, or like to see some sweet UFC posts, whenever that starts again, then follow my man here, Darth_Fex. That's DARTH_FLEXX. The Corona impact continues in entertainment. Now, this is what I really wanted to discuss. Movie productions are being postponed. Movie releases are being postponed. Record low box office numbers. E3 2020 cancellations. Let's first talk about the movies, gentlemen. How this is impacting our geek culture. Things are being postponed till next year. It's that bad. What's that, Cam? Send us free stuff. Let's talk about the movies and what's going on in the movie industry and how basically, for lack of a better word, Hollywood is panicking. Let's talk about it. Discuss.
What was it? They pushed back production on which show? Was it?
Oh, actually,
was it The Witcher?
All the shows.
I think all of them, but I know one for a fact.
Lord of the Rings.
They actually stopped production for The Little Mermaid as well. Right. Apparently, the Honey I Shrunk the Kid remake.
Is the Honey I Shrunk the Kid remake?
I didn't know they were having one.
Oh, that's probably the MCU. That's a tangent from.
They suspended the development of the Wheel of Time series on Amazon also.
Wow.
Oh, snap.
I know they're postponing the release.
They're still doing Castlevania, right?
Castlevania is in pre-production, so it's just Warren Ellis writing right now.
Yeah. So that should be fine. I believe they're
as anim. Now, honestly, they may just do all the animation and everything like that, and then go with the voiceover stuff. They can do that later on.
I know they're postponing. I know Fast and the Furious. The next Fast and the Furious is delayed till next year. I believe they're delaying I believe they're delaying the release of Mulan and Black Widow.
Disney has officially closed all production as a safety precaution because they, and the whole thing is that there's a lot of actors and people that need work because the entertainers that they get paid for these regular gigs. The people that work at Universal Studios, the character actors, Disney is doing the best they can to try to make sure they can help out as many people. But those who are on, I think on the their the programs, their leadership programs, things like that, who are not a full-time vetted employee. Right. They're being laid off, and listen, we'll call you back when the park reopens, but we're not gonna be able to take care of you. And it's only because they have so many employees.
I mean, because these parks are, for lack of a better word, city states at this point. I mean, you have to look at it like that. So, and I mean, their economy in itself, their microeconomy can only, help so many. So, it is unfortunate. Yes.
There might be a tiny bright light as far as the Disney parks are concerned with them closing. They have the opportunity, and it's something they haven't had the opportunity to do since they opened, to repair and revitalize some of their rides. They haven't been able to close down to do, long-term revitalization to the park in general. They have to go piecemeal. Who knows? They might actually fix the fucking Yeti on Mount Everest.
Possible. I mean,
I haven't been there forever.
Hopefully they'll use that.
Do you really think they would? Do you really think they would?
I honestly, it all depends. I doubt it.
No.
Because so I'm gonna give you an example. At the property that I work at, we have all these projects going on. Those projects are budgeted into the year, but the problem is that if we have no income coming in,
exactly. And what's funding the projects? Good point. Very good point. Anything else before we get into the gaming portion of this? Is there any? Because I know that Sonic the Hedgehog is this is killing Sonic the Hedgehog overseas. It was doing so well until this, and absolutely raping Sonic the Hedgehog. Which is
really quick. So Castlevania is produced by Powerhouse Animation, which is in Austin, Texas, and guess what? They're shut down right now.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate.
Oh no.
Let me ask you guys a question. Anybody going to the movies anytime soon?
Nope.
I wasn't going to the movies before this.
I was planning on going.
Ah.
I mean, seriously.
But I guess
I mean,
Hey Joe, come here for
we
a
can
minute.
stream all our movies.
if you,
We
I mean,
can
honestly, if you guys
just,
want to go to the, if any time to go to the movies is probably now. You're gonna have a theater to yourself.
or we can
Just,
stream
That's what
it.
just
I'm-
make
that's
sure you
what
have
I
it. Just make sure you go. Make sure you have a
put it over
mask.
here. Just bring your face over here. Just real good. Okay, so my son recently, I took him to the movies. I took him to the movies. When was that?
Yes.
Can you come over here and put your face over because you were not wearing a shirt? So when did I take you to the movies?
Yesterday?
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, so he went to the movies and he was dropped off yesterday. Can you report on what it looked like in the movie theater, like in the movies itself? Was it dead? Was it deserted? Was enough people there, staffing wise? What did you see when you went to the movies?
When I went to the movies, I saw nothing but like it was like a couple of black people, and that was really it.
Okay, so you walk into the lobby.
PWAGs.
You walk into the lobby. What did you see?
2 staff members working the tickets, 1 working the cashier member.
Okay.
And like probably a handful of people walking around.
Okay. So and of course, the movie that you want to go see was the My Hero Academia, and that was what you said basically, yourself, your friend, and black people. What? 3 black people.
Basically.
Okay. Would you now going to the movies is our thing. We do this all the time. Would you say that it was significantly more empty and more desolate than usual that we go?
Definitely.
Definitely, even the Sunday matinees.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay. Well, thank you for your time, son.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So yeah, there's your first-hand account. That was at the Pembroke Pines, Pembroke Lakes, Pembroke Pines. What? Pembroke Lines. Something.
Pembroke Lakes Mall.
AMC, Pembroke Lakes, AMC 9
Yeah.
theater. So that's the first-hand account of what's going on right now in the movie theaters. Do you think they're going to be shutting down all movie theaters? What do you think?
I think eventually, yeah.
Maybe.
By next week.
You think so? Yeah.
I think by next week. Only because if they're so for those who don't know, Fort Lauderdale basically canceled spring break. So did Miami Beach.
Yeah.
They're actually physically closing everything on the beach. from
Miami
5th until
Beach
10th.
is closed. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
everything from Ocean Drive. Ocean Drive is
Ocean
done.
Drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's closed. All restaurants. Check this out. So all restaurants have to be closed by 10 o'clock, including and they can no longer be at full capacity. They can no
half
longer
capacity.
at 50% capacity.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the best part. That also that it goes up to 250 people. That's it. So if your capacity is 1,000, you have a massive restaurant or massive area that can do 700 people. You cannot go higher than 250.
Can I make it very clear though?
All nightclubs are done.
That's
Closed.
still a lot. That's
Live,
still a
wall.
lot of people though. You know, that's still a lot of people to congregate. So I mean, yeah, it's from 1,000 to 250. That's a difference of 750. But
It's
still,
only
that's
because for
250.
spacing out. That's about 10 people 10 feet apart.
But the coronavirus is spread just by breathing. It's that contagious. So in the end, you breathe it. It's kind of like if I may, the Rick and Morty, Rick Potion number 9. We're talking about something like that, where it's so potent that it gets in it.
The problem
gets into the air ducts, and that's it. You're good to go.
The problem is that and this is very much an America problem. We're very, very fond of half measures, and this is all that we're doing. These are all half measures.
They are.
Everyone knows how
be all or
virulent
nothing.
it is. Everyone knows how easy it is to catch it. And instead of saying, hey, let's shut things down for a certain period of time, it's all these half measures, like I said, and it will continue to spread. I mean, look at South Korea. They had an explosion of cases, so they shut everything down. Everybody stays home. Businesses are closed, and now they're, on the other side of it. They have fewer cases.
Same thing like what China's saying, apparently, or
Same
allegedly
thing.
as well.
They shut things down.
They shut it down.
They handled it poorly at the beginning, but then they shut everything down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the reason why, and I'm going to be honest with this, I think the reason why is people's livelihoods. I'm sorry, it's the truth.
And here's the thing:
It's
if you're not
the reason they're
alive,
doing these half measures.
but if you're not alive, then your livelihood doesn't matter.
And what does it matter?
You see what I'm saying?
I go, yeah,
And
but I'm not disagreeing with you, but the thing is that the majority of the people that are working right now are the struggling college students, the ones that can barely make rent. People in their 30s and 40s, and in the hospitality down by South Beach. I'm talking about directly in that area,
Yeah.
which is why I think they went that half measure. They're trying to save as many jobs as possible, or give them at least a little bit. So instead of making their the usual they make, which is $250 a day on tips, they may only make 100, but still it's 100 more than if they just sat at home, because they only get paid like maybe what $5-6 an hour because they're wait staff. Okay,
that brings up another conversation, though. I mean, like, holy crap! Like, as a society, we should be doing something for people in these horrible situations. We shouldn't have to engage in fucking half measures,
right?
You know, to hope that some poor schmuck working at CVS for minimum wage is able to buy his cup noodle during this this recession and eventual quarantine. So, like I said, this kind of brings up a sticky situation where it can get a little political conversation, but it's true. We are not doing enough for our own fucking people.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the biggest issue right now. And I think that's the biggest thing overall. Like, I know that there's a lot of companies out there, there's a lot of corporations out there that may want to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they have to answer to somebody. Now, hats off to Apple for those. So my thing is, hats off to Apple, right? So let's just say Apple right now, they closed a bunch of their stores starting today, all their stores, right? Every single employee is still getting paid.
Yeah. But the thing is, almost all of these major corporations, and let's be clear, it's the majority of them, are able to subsist for a pretty substantial amount of time without positive income.
Yep, they can.
But they're beholden to their stockholders. They're beholden to perpetual growth. So instead of saying, hey, let's close down, let's do what's good for our employees and for the public at large, let's follow the half measures and stay open and have our employees come in. And whatever, if they get sick, they get sick. At least we have people coming in. And
then if they get sick, we'll take care of the ones that get sick. But not everyone's going to get sick. We're only going to take care of the ones that get sick, not the ones
We're only going to take care of the ones that are full-time employees, not the guy working 31.5 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like you said, like the bailouts that we're going to, the country's going to bail out major corporations, are going to bail out the airline industry, et cetera. What they should be doing is bailing out the common person. Like I said, the poor schmuck pulling minimum wage.
But they're not. I mean, we already say that when they bail out the banks, and the banks, first thing the banks did is they paid themselves high sums of bonuses before doing anything. So we know that's not going to happen. They should send it directly to the people then. Like they did with the stimulus checks, and just send it out to the people. Have you fill out a form, and of course, explaining your hardship, and then send it directly to them. That'd be a lot of paperwork, a lot of red tape, but it'll bypass the misuse of the funds. I'd love to continue this, but I want to pivot toward video games and how this is affecting the video games. We were discussing forever what's going on with E3, and E3 was on its last legs. Is this the E3 killer as they cancel it? And now a few of the vendors or the companies, they're going to do their own web or virtual reveals. Is this the end of E3 now? Is this the final nail in the coffin for E3?
Unless the ESA reinvents itself in some amazing way next year, I don't see a reason why all of these major vendors would even come back to them.
Exactly. Because they're gonna test it. They're gonna test it right now. They're gonna test the waters right now, and that's gonna be huge. Whether they do their own mass event or they find the benefit in doing it virtually. Flex, we've been discussing this for forever. E3 is canceled. E3 2020 is canceled. Not by any fault of their own, but they're now forcing these companies now to do it on their own or not do it at all. What do you think?
I think it was convenient, by the way, that they closed it down. They were thrilled that this happened.
Absolutely.
Just me personally, if it is the last nail in the coffin, it is kind of sad that I never got the chance to attend in person.
Oh yes.
Sorry, man.
But other than that,
yeah.
Oh, that's why he said it like that. Oh, you missed out. That's what it sounded like to me.
Other than that, I don't know enough about the ESA and anything like that. I'm not sure how they operate, but based on what Ron says, it kind of sucks. And I mean, it is true. Now that there's such a market for, digital or just your own convention. I don't see why they would return to E3. But also, I have never paid that much attention to E3 other than our specials that we've done that it would actually affect me emotionally or anything. It would just suck to have never gone there and at least covered some media for it. But whatever. It's life.
I'm with Flex on that one. It's been a dream of mine to go out there and have the press pass, sit in the front row or like the 30th row, whatever, just be there and like just be taking pictures and like blogging, like live streaming and things like that. Just be part of that energy, that first look like we had for Star Wars Celebration. Be able to have it for for Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, or the Atari wants to bring out a Jaguar number 15, whatever. I don't care. I would love to be able to do that. And now, I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, well, at least we still have BlizzCon.
Allegedly. All right, we're gonna move on to healthcare, and I only bring up healthcare because those who do it, I know my day job is in healthcare, and so healthcare, we've got mandatory health screenings, we've got cancellations of appointments, non-essential surgeries, non-essential procedures are all being canceled. We're wearing gloves and face masks, but we're still open for business. Now, as it stands now, and I've actually had to go to an ER from a different location. You cannot enter a medical facility without being screened first. There's a list of questions that are going to be asked of you. You're going to be asked if anybody's been sick in the last 14 days. You're going to be asked if you have any low-grade fever. You're going to be asked if you have a runny nose, a cough, a sore throat, respiratory, hard, shortness of breath, hard breathing. You're going to be asked if you were traveling within the last 14 days. You're going to be asked if you've been coming in contact with anybody who visited these countries. You're going to be asked if anybody has had the flu, and be prepared to be turned away. Of course, very gingerly and gently, but most locations, especially I can speak especially for mine, if you have any of these symptoms, we ask you, please don't walk into our facility. Please wait, stay home, go home, send somebody else for something. And that is where we are right now. If any of you had any brushes with this anywhere in healthcare?
I actually went to the hospital recently. Luckily for both me and my wife, it was just it's one of those situations where we can't go see it. We couldn't go see her OB. She was having some weird pains, and everyone's like, hey, you gotta go to the hospital. I'm like, go to the ER, and I'm just like, so. But luckily for us, and we actually have N95 masks for these particular emergencies because we had some family members get them for us because they know that in case we do have to go as an emergency to an area where there's a high level of possible infection, that she's taken care of. Now I know that because of my beard, I have a much higher risk because of it. So I would have to, for it to be completely effective, I would have to shave off my whole facial hair.
Do it.
For the face mask, you mean?
Yeah, for the actual mask.
I didn't know the beard. The beard.
I have to,
we can't make a seal.
Oh, yeah, okay. So
I would literally, if I can't even have I would literally have to shave, and on top of that, shave the mustache and shave the full beard for me to have a proper seal to actually protect my. I might be able to keep the mustache, but the beard definitely has to go. For it to be able to close properly over the face. It is what it is. At this point in time, the more important thing is that at least it covers the majority of it, and it can help get most of it. So just in case, at least, even though it's a half measure.
It's a half measure. look at Roz. He goes, you.
I didn't have time. I didn't have time at that moment to take that measure at the situation. It was due to the fact of how she was feeling. I didn't have time to go, hold on, I got to shave.
Put a Publix bag over your head, poke 2 holes in it, and you're there.
Just 2 holes with the eyes. That's it. Not by the mouth or the nose.
No, not the mouth. Just the eyes.
And then TP.
Yeah. Just a whole bunch of toilet paper in front of your face. Like a filter.
Wrap it around and surround it to your face. Yeah. So, all right.
But
no elective surgeries.
None whatsoever. Non-essential surgeries, none of that. They're shutting those things down.
No cataract surgeries, no vasectomies. Nothing.
Yeah, it has to be life or death really for them to actually do it at this point. So that's what's happening. Yeah.
No,
We have to
Brazilian
cancel
butt
some of our
lifts.
studies as well too.
Huh?
We had a creatine study that required time under exhaustion and some biopsies and some body fluids. So we're postponing that until further notice, which kind of sucks. Because you know how like studies.
Right. You love the body fluids. I know.
Yeah, I do.
All right, so we're gonna move on to, and we did touch on this originally. Mind you, I decided to create this outline very quickly, like in the beginning hour of today. Travel. Now, flights and travel accommodations are being either canceled, postponed, either by the organizations, the companies, or by the people themselves. Government recommends postponing non-essential trips and vacations, cruises, and now and then if you do go. Actually, it can be if you're coming from a high-risk location, even if you travel at all, being on a plane or a cruise, they're saying 14-day mandatory self-quarantine if you travel abroad, especially from high-risk areas. Discuss.
It,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm more than okay with it.
Yeah, it negatively impacted me. I had multiple trips and conferences that I was going to in the last, in the following like months, but they're all canceled. So
Yeah,
it is
I
what
mean,
it is.
my son had an overnight, $1,700 DC trip, 5 days. That they the school first withdrew their support of it on last Monday, and we're still gung ho. We all a bunch of us the parents met. We're still saying, you know what, we're still gonna send our kids. We're just gonna do it through the close-up organization. But then DC shut down tours to the capital. Then they shut down the museums. And that was pretty much half the itinerary for our kids. We said we can't do anything. Then, cherry on top was the close-up organization. The Friday before the Sunday flight, which is last Sunday, he was supposed to fly out. They said we are suspending the program, no refunds, until further notice. Yeah, so you can imagine I'm part of 45 parents plus the other 500, 600 parents that are out $1,700 right now because this trip is only for eighth graders. So it's a one-time thing, and it takes a full year to plan. Even they try and reschedule it this year, it's going to be, you're talking about security, hotel accommodations, tours, buses, flights. I mean, they did everything.
And you said no refunds? They're not offering refunds?
As of right now, there is no refunds.
I hope that changes.
And I'm not upset about the no refunds part. It was money I was never going to get back anyway. But what I said is that unfortunately my son is not going to get the opportunity like my oldest one did.
No experience,
and that's the experience. That's what really bothers me. Even if they do somehow magically figure it out for April or May, it's not going to be the same thing. It's not going to be. They're going to do the best that they can, but it's not going to be the same experience. It's going to be a consolation prize. So that's what where my heart breaks for my son and for all the kids, and other people, because I've had friends who've had several events canceled. I have my boss has a cruise next week that's not happening anymore. Like it's all pretty much closing down around you, and it's a shame. It's a shame. It's understandable, refunds or not. I mean, some airlines are being fantastic. Like I actually had to be in New York a week ago, and they're JetBlue that is allowing you to cancel your flight, and you're not going to get a penalty, and they will give you a credit for a future flight, the exact amount, that including taxes, all sit there in a travel bank that you can use again, which is great. I got the email. I was like, oh my god, I can cancel this, thank God. So and up you can cancel the same day. I recommend giving them a call because online still holds you to that 72-hour rule. But if you call them, like the minute, actually don't even call them. Use the chat service. All I said was, "Hi, I'm looking to." Is it yes, Mr. Grant? We can cancel your flight. Give it back to you. We'll put it in the travel bank. I said I didn't even finish typing. You knew what I wanted. Thank you. And that was it. They set it up for me and 30 seconds. So
the whole thing is a customer service right now, and in hospitality, regardless if you're working for sale, for Carnival, hotels, everyone's basically, it's like, hi, how can I help you? It's gonna be as it goes, Hello, sir. How are you? Hey, by the way, yes, you can get a refund. Is that what you're looking for? There you go.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
you want
exactly
to
what
book for
happened.
you want to book for a future situation? Absolutely, I can help you with that too. But first, let's
Yep,
refund you and then get that money in somewhere else.
yep, yep.
That's just right now. That's the
It
ongoing rhetoric.
it was quite spectacular. I've never gotten such quick, immediate,
Uh,
and appreciative services
Hopefully, you gave
before.
that person a 5-star review.
Oh, you better believe I did. You better believe I did. I always do for the most part. I always do. Like I even have a survey here for Publix that I'm gonna be doing because I'm all no because I'm honestly it's not because you might get $1,000 in groceries for free, but I'm all about that because people are in this society are too quick to complain, but nobody gives accolades to good service. And so and
Right.
if you ever give it to me, I mean I will give you 5 stars. Even if you were a 3-star, I'd still give you 5 stars because as long as you didn't piss me off, you did what I need you to do. You're 5 stars in my book. And with that, I'm going to pivot to society. Unless anybody has anything more with healthcare to discuss, I'm just throwing it in there because that's my niche. Society. Bans on group gathering. Mandatory curfews. Public events postponed or canceled. Public establishments to run at half capacity. 14-day self-quarantine mandate if you have symptoms or believe you have symptoms or you come into contact. School closures and a run on toilet paper. Discuss.
So, does anybody actually know about the whole toilet paper situation and why
What,
this whole panic
how it
started?
started?
Yeah.
I think it's a social experiment, but that's just me.
No, Roz, what the? Because I mean, from what I heard, it had to do with that when they were in during this whole situation started in China, Wuhan was out of toilet paper for like a day.
It was it was a 4chan and 2chan hoax. So
What was that?
so
Yes!
4chan and 2chan. 2chan. So they're these like remarkably toxic online forums. 2chan is the Japanese one. 4chan is the one for English-speaking nations, and it's where like a lot of just the negative aspects of the internet, reside. However,
Oh yeah.
during the beginning of this, 2chan in Japan was, producing a lot of hoaxes and posting on social media saying that toilet paper production is all in China. So you have to buy all the toilet
Yeah.
paper while you can.
Sorry.
It's not true. Every country makes their own toilet paper.
Oh God, that's the best thing I ever heard.
So
That's
it became a panic, and the moment somebody starts to buy, what's that famous story? A guy is standing in line in front of a door in the middle of nowhere, and then in a few hours there's another 50 people behind him. People are going to see other people acting a certain way, and they're going to copy it. So people just started going crazy with toilet paper, and Japan got sold out on the toilet paper. And then when the virus started hitting here, people started losing their minds because people on 4chan started doing the same thing, posting on Facebook, posting on Instagram, posting on Twitter. Oh man, all our toilet paper is produced in China, and once China is shut down, you won't be able to get toilet paper.
Okay, so that's the
Oh
run.
my
That's the
God,
run
that
on
is
toilet-
honestly probably
that is the best
probably
thing I've ever
the
heard.
best thing I have ever heard.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing. And this is what's bothering me. Okay, there's a run on toilet paper. I get it. You may think it's all in China, but then how does that translate into a mad rush saying, "Oh my God, we need toilet paper. It's a virus, but we need the toilet paper." Nobody thought for a minute. Okay, maybe we can take a shower. Maybe we can use napkins. We can use washcloths. We can use our bare hands with
Because
water.
people are irrational. A,
Right.
B, the panic, once it spread, everybody started losing their minds. But yeah, like the obvious thing, buy a fucking bidet. Like
There you go. There you go. Like literally,
if things get really bad and you run out of
Hello,
paper,
Tushy.
throw yourself in the bathtub. But like you were saying, it's really absurd seeing how people act and react to this whole thing. The giant, what is it, 30 roll that I have, it's because I bought it like 3 months ago at Costco.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting in a closet, and I only buy toilet paper like twice a year, if that.
that's the same thing.
Because I have
That's
so
the same
much.
thing. Inside my garage, there's a big thing of toilet paper and a big thing of what is it called? Paper towel. But it's not
Paper
because
towel.
I'm hoarding. It's just I go to BJ's once every couple months and I just buy a big one and just toss it in there, and when it gets halfway done, go back and refill it, and that's about it.
So
Yeah,
I'm
so-
gonna tell you a quick true
The other.
story.
Oh wait. Okay.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. No,
I was gonna say
no,
the other big thing that caused people to make a run on toilet paper is once like opportunists noticed that people were buying a lot of toilet paper, they started buying more. They started buying hundreds of rolls, thousands of rolls, and selling out Costco, selling out Publix, selling out, Giant Eagle, all these supermarkets, because they were going to sell it on the secondary market. And those are the ones that have actually caused the most damage, because if you go to Costco and you see a guy walking out with 3 pallets worth of toilet paper, you're like, fuck, I guess I should buy some goddamn toilet paper.
Right. I mean, I won't lie.
What does he know?
I won't lie. Driving past BJ's, driving past Publix and Walmart, and I'm seeing people with toilet. And that's you never notice what people have in their cart until you see the same thing over and over again. And you see people walking out. I'm looking for some cold cuts, but as I'm walking out, I see like 3 or 4 people walking out with toilet paper. I'm like, is there something to this? For a quick minute, it got into my own head. And I was just like, maybe no, man, I'm gonna get my cold cut and
hey,
it's
man.
gone. So it gets in your head. It gets in your head.
We're monkeys. We see that and they're like, oh shit.
Like 2 days ago, I actually the wife calls up. She goes, "Listen, I kind of effed up," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I kind of I wasn't paying attention and we're out of toilet paper." And I was like, "Please tell me you're kidding." She goes, "Yeah, I thought I had some in storage because we usually get those big things from Costco."
Right.
Or BJ's or whatever. And I was like, all right, fine. I'll go across the street. There's a Walgreens there. I'll see if they have. When I say I paid almost $12 for 4 rolls.
What, did you buy it off some guy in the corner?
No, that was from in the store.
But hold on, they put.
Hold up.
Isn't there a law
That's
right
absolutely, now that is absolutely illegal. Price gouging is illegal.
Price gouging, yeah. They
their average price is $10.99.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
maybe. Walgreens is kind of expensive.
Beach. Everything on the beach is more expensive by at least $1.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, I agree. But yeah,
but I was like, I went over there, and in all the big packs, which normally it's kind of funny. It says like $10.99 for the Charmin Mega Roll, $8.99 for the regular Charmin, and then the 8 packs were $13. An 8-pack. So I paid.
Sounds like a steal.
$2 less for the thicker rolls, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna grab this, and I got home. I'm like, here's your $15 toilet paper, and she goes, what? I'm like, you just take it. I don't want to talk to you right now. It's like I'm just gonna get old rags and just wash them and reuse them over and over again if I have to. I don't care. Worst comes to worst.
Hand wash.
It's just
use some of that Dr. Squatch soap. It's fantastic.
Dr. Squatch.
All right. Don't laugh. I ordered it. I ordered it. But if we can pivot real quick. So here's the thing: school closures. Schools are now closed for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Okay.
I'm glad I don't have kids. Right.
I know you're right. You're right. But here's the thing, though.
You're good.
Schools are closed, right? They're closed for the next 2 to 3 weeks. But yet there is no mandatory closure on all businesses and everything. Where's the logic behind that? Because now you're putting people. I mean, they are offering some kind of some free lunches here. They're offering some daycare services for first responders. But you've literally shut down schools.
Yeah.
But there's no mandatory shutdown for businesses. What have you done to the workforce now? As you're crippling us even more. Luckily for me, my kids are teenagers now, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm lucky. They'll just stay home. But I'm not so lucky. There's some people that are that lucky that there are people that don't have a support system. What is the logic behind school closures while still having most businesses open and having people having to go to work?
There is no logic, and yet again another half measure, and on that subject, a substantial percentage of students kids,
Yes.
everything from primary to high school years, they rely on food that they get at school to subsist, because that may be the only meal that they get, full stop.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing for those people?
There are some lunches and breakfasts programs being offered, but yes, it is.
Broward County is doing it. It is very small.
It is small, and yes,
and it relies on and it relies on the parents going out and acquiring that food. Yeah,
exactly, because a good chunk of the student population, they require on school buses to get around.
Yeah.
And
now,
so
this may sound a little callous, and I know this, but the truth is that the
watch it
majority
now.
of these children
Mhm.
are in very low risk. Most of these kids do not have, if their families are traveling, have those kids stay home. Again, this is about self-regulation.
Right.
And if people were to actually self-regulate properly, then we wouldn't have to go to
What's
extremes
happening?
and putting everybody else in issues.
Flex, what's happening? What's happening? We can't hear you. Just so you know, which is weird because you're just laughing and we can't hear you now.
I said I just read some funny Corona stuff. I'll send it to the WhatsApp chat.
Can you pay attention to the podcast we're on? We're almost done. I promise.
I'm listening.
Okay. Anything you want to chime into? That I put there under the society banner.
It sucks for those kids, yeah, with the whole, especially the ones who have like abusive parents, and when their school is the only place to get away from that.
Oh, you're going dark. All right.
I mean, that's
reality.
I want to give you some stats, Flex. The current number is 30 million students in the USA participate on the free or reduced lunch price.
Yeah.
And 14 million participate in the free or reduced priced breakfast. So that's 30 million people, 30 million kids that rely on school lunch.
That's a lot.
See?
Then all they're going to have is like, so puede ir a chiflido.
And it is a half measure because the simple fact is this: if their parents are still going out to work, they can still be in contact with the virus and bring it right back home to them. So in the end, you've done
nothing.
In the end, it's either it's like what Roz said. It's either all or nothing. Either you shut down society just for a good solid week, give us a minute, 2 weeks, or you do these half measures and you prolong this to be even worse and even longer. Because it's not going to work. You might slow it down, but it's slowing it down only prolongs it. So
and the fact is that the mortality rate for people 18 and younger is dramatically low.
Infinitesimal. Yeah.
Okay, because their immune systems are easier to adapt at that age, and that's hence why we do the inoculations and things like that when you're younger, is for that particular reason. Okay, it's if anything they're as safe there as they are going home, but the only difference is that they actually get fed. They have a safe place to be because they're well taken care of. Now, yes,
it just dawned on me. It just dawned on me. If they're not, if now the nutrition is going to be compromised, does that not then in turn compromise their immune system?
Sure.
Yes.
Have we not just made the situation maybe a little bit worse with working parents bringing the pathogen home?
Of course.
Oh snap! We just didn't do anything at all. All right, we're gonna move on to the very last thing. Question of the day: what, if any, lasting impact will the coronavirus pandemic have on society? Discuss.
Let me go first because I have almost nothing to say about this. I don't know enough about this to really say what it will affect. The one thing that is probably going to last is all the funny shit you see on the internet. That's about all I have.
Well, I mean, really? I mean health-wise. I mean, like society,
health-wise?
like
society,
like stuff like that.
Honestly, again, I don't know enough to give you like an educated response.
Well, I would like to hope it would put a greater emphasis on just basic hygiene, but who knows about that?
No, actually, I just hope this actually puts a light on humanitarianism and just being good to each other and actually self-regulating, because. And just that I'm gonna be okay, so I don't give a fuck about anybody else's attitude. Like, get rid of that. That person get hit. Get that kind of mentality. Let it hit by a bus. I don't care. It's putting others at risk because you're okay. That's not okay.
But Garbanzo, the ruthless, thrive in this world.
Why? But the whole thing. Don't get me started. I know you're playing devil's advocate. I know you're trying to get a rise out of me, and I'm going to just stick to it. I'm going to be positive on this one. I just be good to each other, and I hope that and also maybe respond better.
Yes, yes, yes. Galaxy, that's was a failure.
I'm really, really, really hoping that this puts like a magnifying glass on how atrocious our public health response can be, and
Yes.
how having well over a third of our entire country be uninsured and incapable of getting, you know, support if something happens is a problem, because that's a big reason why, you know, it's spreading as much as it is, because when people get sick, they just don't go and get anything taken care of. They stay home.
Now
and they molder.
that statistics that you provide, that's still after the Affordable Health Care Act, instituted the Affordable Health Care Act.
That's including the ACA.
Really, it's still that high?
Yeah, sadly.
I guess that defeats. I mean, I don't say defeats it, but
It's been the ACA. Remember, the ACA was completely obliterated from the gate. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was never as good as it could have been. Like the moment,
no, it wasn't. It
you know,
wasn't.
the not again, at the risk of getting too political, from the moment it got out the door, it was getting hamstrung every step of the way.
That is
And
true.
then in this most recent administration, it was, you know, neutered even harder. However, so that is a huge issue. And the society that we live in being so reliant on the service industry, rather the hospitality industry, and how poorly the hospitality industry is protected is a big issue, because I forgot what the percentage was. Garbanzo, do you know what the percentage of our economy is hospitality? It's a big number, but I don't know. Regardless.
Out of Florida?
Hell, out of the United States, man.
Actually, let me look that up real quick.
It's big enough that there should be some sort of social safety net for these people for these specific issues. You know, these things don't happen very often, once every 100 years, but we don't have anything there to protect our economy. That's a big problem. So what do you see, you know, what do I see happening after this? Hopefully people see this and want to change that. Also,
I think I don't know percentage, but it brings in over $218 billion.
Yeah, that's
a
huge.
year.
And lastly, hopefully,
I'm sorry, that was
fucking
2018.
internet companies stop giving us caps on what we can download, because we're going to be fucking trapped at home. And if all I have is 1 terabyte a month, come on.
Well, I got an email saying Comcast complimentary internet during coronavirus crisis, so I don't know what that means.
Hey,
Families
fuck
can get
it.
families can get free internet during the coronavirus. Low-income families in Comcast service areas who sign in as new customers can get 60 days of free internet. Oh, look at that! There you go.
We're on the right track.
We're getting there, but here's these basic accommodations, these basic trinkets. Why do we have to wait for a crisis to consider giving these out? That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love that we're reacting, but some of the things that we're doing should have been the norm, not a reactionary tale because of what's going on now. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm hoping that basic common decency will win the day when it comes to the lasting impact of the coronavirus, since of all the other, you know, yeah.
Why do we have to wait? Because human nature is not humane. You know, they're only doing this because, dude, think of the great press that they're going to have after this.
That is true.
Guys, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I was wrong. It's actually closer to 22 trillion.
Wow.
I'm sorry, 1.8 trillion, about 2.6%, almost 3% of our GDP.
Yeah, that's huge.
I don't think people understand. Okay, you hear 2.6%, and they're like, "Oh, well, you know, no." I don't think they understand the amount of. That's over 50 million jobs.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
Wow.
That's a very sobering podcast.
50 million people.
Wow, you know what? Thank you, Garbanzo, for actually even suggesting this as a topic, because you know, and I didn't want to do it, but you know, this is yeah, you're right. It's a very sobering podcast. I want to pose this question to you guys, the audience: what, if any, lasting impact will the coronavirus pandemic have on society? Email us geekbros@yahoo.com. We'd love to read this on our next episode next week, as we continue our Skype recordings until further notice. But Gents, thank you so much for indulging this kind of unorthodox podcast. We've had some specials in the past, but this is like the real most different one we've done in a, ever. So I appreciate your input. Appreciate you guys hanging in there with us, and I appreciate you guys for listening. So that's it for Keeping the Geek Bros, the coronavirus special. You can check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Geek Bros with a 0 GEKB or 0S. Listen to us every Wednesday at WeBeGeeksPC.com. Watch us several days later, YouTube.com/Vibro Studios, and email us every and anything, both related and unrelated to today's podcast, at geekbros@yahoo.com, GEKB or 0S at yahoo.com. Just before we wrap up, shameless promotion, Starflex.
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Darth_Flex.
Cronzo.
You can find me on the gram and Twitter at BEANTKE278, and also just be cautious and be careful and take care of each other.
Mr. Roz, we can't hear anything you sing.
You can find me on Instagram on Ray Raziel.
Oh, fantastic! And I'm Vibe. You can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere you want to be. It's Vibe Studios, VIBEREV STUDIOS. And of course, the website is back, viberevstudios.com, where you can find everything but one podcast so far that's actually up. It is the place you want to be to find everything Vibe Studios. Thank you for tuning in to Keeping the Geek Bros podcast. And remember, geeking out still sounds this good.
Keeping up with the Geek Bros.